keep it locked. This is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Garrett.
Hey guys, happy Monday, everybody.
We're back. We're 10 minutes late again. Sorry, everybody.
God, yeah, there goes our streak.
We're
Doing it live today, Nate.
Yes.
We're a little bit scattered, but
we're going to get back on track
made
with
it.
being on time, but we keep having technical difficulties with our new system. We got new cameras. We got new streaming software. So, there's some technical difficulties.
Yep. But we made it again.
That's right. We're here.
And boy, it is another week, though, isn't it?
Dude, look. The Trump-Elon divorce that started like last Tuesday or whatever, I can't believe it. I think it is crazy.
Man, that kind of just started a little bit out of the blue. I know. I told you the day before it happened. I sold all my Tesla stock the day before. And I told you, I said...
psychic with that sometimes, dude.
I said we are going to have a lot to talk about next show. Because I saw it happening. I could tell that Elon was brewing, and he was frustrated. They kind of threw him to the side a bit.
Well, you mentioned that NASA thing.
Yeah, that's when I knew, like, this isn't good. There was a NASA candidate that Trump nominated to be the head of NASA. And that was definitely from Elon. I mean, Elon's probably thinking is like, okay, this is my one guy. I gave everything to this administration. In Elon's head, at least, he got Trump elected. I don't know if I'd go that far because it was the media tries to tell us it's not, but it was a blowout. That was a blowout election. And
good point.
I do think that Elon really helped. I think that maybe the House wouldn't have went Republican, but I think Trump wins. I mean, the Republican House is so slim anyway. So I think it probably would have changed the House demographics at least.
But, if Elon doesn't buy X, maybe Trump doesn't win.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think he's more talking about me going to bat for him.
I agree.
Because
he almost shouldn't get all the credit for X saving, even though he was sort of pinnacle in X being able to.
But you're right. I mean, that is a huge cultural shift that I think media and liberals and stuff know it was, but they also kind of don't want to admit it was. They want it to still to be a mistake and the courts made Elon buy this. How many news articles did we see talking about how, geez, look at entrepreneur Elon and he trashed the valuation of Twitter. Twitter's now worth X. And it would be something really low or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Bobby E.
Bobby.
Gas prices $2.74. Dude, how about that?
Yeah.
Talk about going down.
Inflation God, if you look at true inflation, which I think I've talked about that in the show before. I mean, they got it even lower. They have it under 2%. And that's supposedly what the Fed's looking for. They want like a 2 to 3%. They have it under 2%. For a while there, they had it even under 1%.
I mean, talk about
So,
a great sign
yeah.
of like the
And
economy recovering and the nation getting
I
better.
don't know if you saw last show, but that was a huge topic. And we showed, but I think it was Bassett went on to MSNBC, and they're basically saying how tariffs are going to guarantee to raise prices. And Bassett's like, you said that last month. You said it last month, and now look, inflation's the lowest it's been in years.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything. Grocery prices are kind of becoming more reasonable, at least in some ways. It's still out of control, but I mean, I blame the Democrats. And I think
for sure.
that
The money printing,
yeah.
we're still having, you can't shut down a nation and really a world economy for 2 years and expect to not have repercussions. You can't just print your way to prosperity. And that's what the whole world tried to do. And we made fun of it, but we talked, that was when Angela Merkel was pissed because some Germans were getting upset with energy prices. And so they started to be against the Ukraine war. And I laughed so much because her whole point was like, if you have an issue with this, tell us and we'll give you money to help with energy bills.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't understand. You could print infinite amount of these paper dollars. It's not going to make more energy in Germany. All that's going to do is make the price go up.
Right.
If I give you, there's only so much energy go around, and printing paper isn't going to make more energy. But that is their lame-brained idea is just ask us and we'll print more money for you.
Dude, the socialists and the communists will never understand that like printing money doesn't make
stock market stable. Not only stable, and I said this, so the SPY's back over 600. Right now it's even futures. If you're a futures guy, that's going crazy because Japan's now coming to the table talking about a trade negotiations too. But anyway, it's over 600. SPY is. The SPY was never over 600 during Biden's presidency until after Trump got elected. And then he's in his lame duck thing where you got that Trump bounce again. But it's over 600. It's higher now than ever before ever since Trump got elected in the second election. But they still act like CNN, MSNBC saying, "Oh, geez, well, the stock market, the stock market's higher." Well, it's going up and down. Well, yep, that's what the stock market does. That's what it's always done.
Speaking of all this stuff, the things Bobby brought up and just sort of recapping why America is healing and recovering. Okay, tying that into the Elon and Trump divorce that's happened.
Yep.
I'm still hugely on Team Trump. I'm huge MAGA.
So
hang on. I kind of think Elon is right about a lot of the things he's complained about, particularly like the big, beautiful bill is probably chock full of bullshit. It's probably way overspending. I kind of hate all that. In general, I hate all that. At the same time, I kind of want the bill to pass because I assume there's MAGA things in there that I want. And I kind of want like Trump's plan to work and go forward. But even though I agree with some of Elon's criticisms, I wish he wouldn't have tried to sink the ship here. You know what I mean? Yeah, go nuts. What an idiot.
Going back to it, that Jared or whatever, the head of NASA, that was going to be the head of NASA.
Yeah.
That was Elon's guy. Trump said, okay, and he nominated him. Well, he pulled it. He pulled the nomination saying he's a Democrat. I think he was in some DEI stuff in the past. But I think that is really what started to send Elon over the edge. Also, I think not codifying the Doge cuts, I think that was really eating at him.
And how much do I agree with him on that?
Sorry, I can't read your name. Who is that? Oh, Adam Stove. Yeah.
Adam and Stove.
It is weird to watch the literal richest man in the world and the president of the United States fight like seventh grade. Elon called him a pedophile, basically. He said he's on Epstein Island. That's why the files aren't being released.
Yeah, we're gonna show.
But at the same time, he has his youngest son X hanging out with Trump.
Yeah,
but I gotta say, the normies, I shouldn't say the non-chronically online people like you and me, I guess, or at least me. The people I've ran into in real life that have come and talked to me about this, I say most of them are Team Trump on this Team Trump and Elon thing. I I think I'm Team Elon on this. I think there's a chance Trump was sitting there going, what in the fuck sent Elon off? Why is he going crazy? And I get why Trump is pissed, but you want go to my browser quick.
Okay.
Go to the cache stuff and go to the one right after cache. This is what I even kind of said this. I said, I can't wait until Kamala gets crushed. I can't wait until the House and Senate go to Republican. And the reason I can't wait for that, go one to the right. Go into the right here.
Right,
the reason I can't wait for that, I can't wait for this, is because I can go back to hating the Republicans again. I talked about how I was going to leave the Libertarian Party and join the Republican Party. You remember that? Because the Libertarian Party is a goddamn joke.
Yeah.
Here's what I hate about the Republican Party. Here's Speaker Mike Johnson, and Trump or Elon retweeted this. Here's Speaker Mike Johnson when the Democrats are in power. When the Democrats are in power, Republicans are really principled. They're really against raising that debt ceiling. They're really against deficit spending when they're not in charge.
Right.
Here's Speaker Mike Johnson. The federal debt has just topped 31.4 trillion. What is it right now? It's way more, right? So his main thesis here is 31.4 trillion is way too much debt. He's right. That
Absolutely.
is $31.4 trillion too much debt.
Yeah.
We are in a time of peace. The debt is fine-ish to balloon when you're in a time of war. You borrow when you're in war. During peace times, you don't. You have a surplus and you pay that down.
And you never let it
because
get
of this.
High. Yeah.
Yeah, because of what we got going on, this racket, this left and right racket in the media making cuts. We've talked about too. Media makes it impossible to cut anything. You try cutting anything and they go ape shit. Luckily, they're losing power, but I mean, we've seen that over and over. And the Congressional Budget Office now estimated for federal spending for fiscal year 2023 will total $6.221 trillion, or more than 200,000 per second. That is not sustainable. What do you think it is right now? It's way more. Where's this guy?
And they're trying to
Where's this
raise
guy?
the debt ceiling now. I saw Trump said something
big time.
like, we shouldn't worry about the debt ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yep. Go to the next thing I sent you.
Yeah.
Go to the next one. Yeah. Here it is. Elon, this is during the blow up. 2013. I cannot believe the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. I am a Republican and I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Also in 2012, no member of Congress should be eligible for re-election if the country's budget is not balanced. Deficits not allowed. If you go down, there's another one, but you get the point. And he had a ton of these. Elon went and scoured. John Thune, he came after and stuff. So, boy, I think he could have went about this better. And I think I'm sure Reddit was just
it'd be hard to go about it worse.
Yeah, I'm sure Reddit was just having a field day with this and stuff. But I share Elon's frustrations. And then Trump kind of had a low blow. He came out and said, well, Elon's just max. We're taking away the incentives for electric vehicles. Elon's been talking for years that he's fine getting rid of it. He basically said they should get rid of that. He said it'd be better for Tesla anyway if it's a level playing field. And even Trump said that. Trump said, it's like, there's a clip of him saying, like, and then Elon, I'm cutting off the electrical vehicle stuff, and Elon doesn't even care. It's wild. But now all of a sudden they start fighting, and he tries to throw that in Elon's face.
Yeah.
But also, Elon called him a pedophile. So,
right. I agree with you that Trump had to be sitting there going like, what the fuck? And I think Elon might be on, they say he's on ketamine or Adderall.
So here's the thing.
Something.
When he said that because of SpaceX, there's a ton of and he got in trouble with the SEC, yada yada. But he has to be drug tested anyway. When he did the thing on Joe Rogan, remember when he went and had a hit of marijuana on Joe Rogan? People went crazy. He got randomly drug tested for like 3 years. Never failed. Trump even said today that he's not on drugs. I know that might be Trump just ending the feud or whatever. But, Trump said he's not on drugs and yada, yada. So I don't think that's it. I mean, he's obviously highly autistic. He'll fly off the handle, of course, but
Okay, one more thing about everything we've talked about. The Republican Party, like you said, they're super principled when they're not in power.
Yep.
And I just want to say, part of this thing of like, I'm big Team Trump, Team MAGA.
Yep.
But every day that passes, I'm more and more disillusioned that they're going to accomplish anything
meaningful.
Any of the like real big things they promised, particularly releasing the Epstein list, which that they're not.
You know what?
Obviously, we've
Go,
talked
go,
about
go,
that. But
go.
now it looks. Hang on, but Elon throwing Trump under the bus on that Epstein thing makes it look like, well, yeah, they're not going to tell us that, especially if Trump's on the list, And if he went to the island, then I'm happy to throw him in prison with the rest of them.
Anybody on the island, yes. Yeah.
If he's on the list because he's on the flight logs, I have some leniency for people on the flight logs. And
yes.
in my heart, I kind of don't think Trump was over there raping kids.
Yeah, I don't either. I think Elon was pissed and he kind of thought, all right, well, they're not releasing the Epstein files. Let's say this. He deleted the tweet. I don't know if that means anything.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find it just now. But but if he was like, whoops, I went too far there, that's a ridiculous thing to do, Elon.
Yeah.
For Elon to take it personal and then lash out by like, Trump's on the Epstein list, that is not cool. That's deranged, That's way over the line. He's trying to it's almost sink the country.
It's hard to argue Team Elon other than just saying, I think he's making good points.
Yes, that's another
I think
point I was going to say.
More. They have to do more to get rid of debt. They had to not care what the media. You have this very slim time. Like I said, I really think as bad as the Democrat Party is, the House goes Democrat in what is that 2026. They don't have a whole lot of time. Stephen Miller talks about saying how the estimates on the big beautiful bill are wrong. It's how they're calculating the tax cuts and they're using that as deficit. He might be right, but also just here's your chance. Go budget neutral. Go budget neutral and then start cutting. Trump keeps saying he wants to cut taxes if you make under $150,000 when they go budget neutral. Just go do it. Get it done.
Get rid of the IRS altogether. Yeah. I mean, that's a pipe dream, but
we were so excited about actual real change. The big beautiful bill, I don't think is actual real change.
Right. And why don't you codify the Doge cuts?
Why?
Get rid of USAID forever right now.
Do you know what I think they're doing? I think they're going to say, hey, we're working on it, but we have to do this the right way. But don't worry, we're working on it. And then in a year, they're going to say, hey, Nate, they're going to get emails. Hey, Nate, this is Mike Johnson letting you know that it's really important for us to win the election coming up because we got to codify the Doge cuts. Right. And it's the same thing with the Democrats in abortion. Yeah, they could have codified Roe v. Wade forever. They had numerous opportunities. And they didn't do it because they liked it. Because one, they don't give a shit. They don't care what happens to you. Laws don't pertain to them. They don't care if it's their great-grandchildren that are going to be saddled with this debt. For one, because they hate everybody else but themselves, and they're a bunch of old, evil pieces of shit. But also, they've raped and pillaged the country enough where their progeny don't have to worry about money. Right. Did you see, speaking of, did you see Obama's daughter dropped her last name because she wants to go at it on her own? And she wants to go at it on her own. But also, she's a multi-millionaire because of her parents, but she's doing it on her own. Chelsea Clinton, she had a big thing where she said, you know what? Money just doesn't mean much to me. It doesn't mean much to you. It's really easy to say when you have tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money paying for your wedding. That's really easy to say you don't care about money if you have infinite of it.
Right. Especially
just a bunch of evil, terrible people.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's the point I wanted to make, dude, is like, this is why I'm being disillusioned. We have this dream team. We have the House and the presidency and the Senate. Now we're
supposedly,
never, and they're not
supposedly
doing
FBI
shit.
director. Supposedly, we could go on. We have Pam Bondi. We have Kash Patel. They're going to UFC fights and getting standing ovations. Go to the email of Kash Patel talking for people that even know what we're talking about here. He went on to Joe Rogan. We talked about it on the last show, basically saying the Epstein files are nothing burger. This kind of goes along. Play the top. This kind of goes along. When Republicans are not in power, boy, do they love to be fiscal conservative, and they would love to be against raising the debt ceiling. Here's Kash Patel when he's not in power. Play this.
Yeah, this is great.
Same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you.
Give out.
What are they doing?
I saw.
This is before he was.
Couldn't agree,
FBI
Kash.
director. Yeah.
Kash, what are those Republicans doing?
Yeah. This is great.
We make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word or whoever that guy is as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything.
Dang it, my webcam is right in a way, I'm sure.
Boy, though, somebody needs to put this guy in the head of FBI. Someone needs to get this guy into power.
Yeah, no kidding.
Then we're going to get some answers.
Yeah.
Then we're really going to find out what's going on.
No kidding. It's like, boy, I wish this guy was the
This
head
guy's
of the
great.
FBI.
Yeah.
Who's on that list and who
get
isn't,
this
and
guy
that
into
it can and can't be
power.
released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. This guy's great, dude.
Aren't gonna
He'll
do
release
anything.
the list.
But how are you going to reward the FBI with a new headquarters building after their illegal surveillance on Donald Trump continues with a reauthorization of FISA, and we can't even get basic documents out? This is why America hates Congress. And this is why I'm tired of the Republican majority saying they're going to get the job done and failing.
Oh, my God.
Well, I wish somebody would sit down and just play him that and say, okay, what changed? Tell me the difference between this guy and this next guy. Now go to the video below that and go play that video.
Dude, it's scary. It's a little bit scary to think
It's very much.
To think about
it makes
what changed.
Yes. We talk about the deep state and how it's obviously there's a deep state, and obviously something's going on here because this is the same guy barely a couple of years later.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I mean, oh my God, I guess let's just play it. But seriously, what changed here? Did they put a bag over his head and hold a gun to his wife's head and say, guess you both
his
want to
kids
die?
missing?
Yeah. Are his kids missing?
And you know what I got to point to is they keep going to the linchpin of Epstein if he killed himself or not. That's a curious case, but that is not even secondary. Who cares? If he did kill himself, fine. That has nothing to do with Epstein's Island, with Pizzagate, with the raping of these kids. It has nothing to do with that. If he killed himself or not, if he didn't kill himself, obviously, it more points towards the deep state.
Yeah, but
because of how with the missing tapes, we have the guards that fell asleep. But even if some weird thing happens where those just happen to fail and the guards just happen to be asleep and he was able to just happen to be off of the suicide watch list the day before and he just happened to kill himself, he's able to do it. Whatever. It changes none of this.
Great.
Give us the goddamn Epstein files. We don't give a shit if he killed himself or not. Quit covering up for this.
Yeah, no
It
shit.
doesn't make sense.
It's about
You
the
know,
powerful people who are raping and murdering children on an island, who are still in power. Why don't we need to know who they are? I don't give a shit if Epstein killed himself or not.
No,
That's a great point you're making. They keep trying to go like, well, we'll get to the bottom of it if he killed himself. Who cares?
You want? We're going to give you some videos and show you how it's not when he died, but we have videos show you that he killed. Who gives a shit?
But
just give us the fucking list.
Right.
For people that don't know, too.
He killed him. He didn't kill himself.
For people that don't know, when they arrested him and he killed himself and everything, for some reason, not for some reason, we all know why, but for some reason, they left Epstein's Island alone. Somebody on YouTube flew a drone through Epstein's Island and saw videotapes, files, everything. You know this story too, right?
Yeah.
Guy flies a drone there, sees, oh my God, they didn't clear this place out. There's shit everywhere.
Yeah.
The next day, the FBI goes in and cleans it out. The next day, because of that, oh shit. And now they're telling us, and now they're telling us this. And we have Pam Bondi saying, I'm going to give you all of them. In 24 hours, you're going to have the whole list. And she releases something that's less than we've already known. At least a more redacted file than we've already had. And that was supposed to be day one. And then they asked Trump about it. Trump says, I'm going to give you the JFK files. I think people care more about the JFK files than the Epstein files. Who would care more?
No.
Nobody cares more. Even if the JFK files, which we're obviously not getting the truth anyway, even if the JFK files proved that it was the CIA that killed him, it's still not as consequential as getting us the Epstein files.
Absolutely.
It really is not even close.
No, it's not close at all, which is more reason why they're not releasing that. They'll tell us everything except the Epstein files because they're too powerful, which is why they're not. And
their handlers won't let them. It shows us like our elections don't mean nearly as much as we think. So when the pendulum swings back, because it always does, in the media is so corrupt, and our educational institutions are so corrupt. So when that pendulum swings back, just know it doesn't really matter anyway, because look what happens. We voted for Doge cuts. We voted for, obviously, to deport the 25 million illegals that came in. We voted to have these trade negotiations. It means nothing because the Republicans won't get off their asses. So then these individual judges come and say, nope, Trump doesn't have the power for it. I'm going to stop it. Even though I'm in the 5th district and I'm going to go and change policy for the whole nation. And I'm one activist judge, but you guys can't do anything about it because the Republicans are a bunch of lazy pieces of shit when they're in power.
Yeah,
they're just going to
do anything.
Doesn't matter what the voters want. It's really easy. You could have 25 million illegal immigrants fly into this country by Biden and nobody can stop him. But the moment we say, hey, we want a smaller government, can't happen. Hey, we want to, there's a lot of criminals here in Colorado. They're taking over apartment buildings. Let's get rid of them. Nope, we can't. We have to have an absolute trial for all these people. So it's going to take 1,000,000 years to get 15 million people out of the country. But also we want to have spending cuts and we don't want our money going to USAID to prop up weird shit across the world we don't care about. Nope, we can't do that either. We can increase it. We can increase the foreign aid through USAID, but we can't cut it. Yeah. That is why governments get monstrous and monstrous until they all collapse.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating to see that our vote basically means nothing at this point.
The government does whatever it wants. If it's against the will of the people, that doesn't mean shit.
They don't care.
Do it anyway.
Yep.
They'll
just
institute
keep
it.
growing.
They'll say it's good. Yeah, shut up. We can't stop it. We can't repeal it. We can't get rid of it. We can't vote it out. We can't elect it out. So the deep state, there's no doubt about it. These evil lizard people, they're above the law. The United States, the rule of law is an illusion. It's just a punishment for the poor people. That's about it.
You know, we were obviously very, very, and we still are. We love to watch the downfall of the Democrat Party. Woke is just evil. Woke is evil.
Absolutely.
That's the dumbest shit ever. But I think because of that, we've built a following of MAGA people, which makes sense. But man, I am not a Kash Patel fan after this. I don't like Kash Patel.
I mean, I don't
trust
Kash
him.
Patel at all.
I don't.
Yeah,
Dan Bongino, I don't trust you.
No, I don't. Either. No.
You know, Pam Bondi, I don't have as much negative feelings of hers yet because she hasn't come out and changed. But she also, it wasn't that long ago that she was saying, we have videos and videos. And basically she was insinuating it's kids being raped. You know,
yeah, I know.
But Kash was supposed to be the enemy of the deep state. We have like the Hillary emails that basically prove Pizzagate. Is he looking into those?
Yeah,
I mean, what's he done?
Yeah,
he's running out of time, really. And he's done basically nothing other than completely flip-flopped and telling us that because he's been in a jail before, that he knows Epstein killed himself. Yeah. We don't care. Give us the files. Quit lying to us. Well, it takes a long time. Well, don't tell us on day one you're going to turn the Hoover building into a museum for the deep state then. And don't tell us in 24 hours that we're going to have all of this. But really, you don't need that much time.
Just do something.
You don't get to decide. We're your boss. You don't get to decide what we see and what we don't see. If Trump is on there, too bad. He shouldn't have flown to Epstein Island then.
Absolutely.
Give us the files. And if Israel is implicated, too bad. They shouldn't have gone and helped pedophiles. We need to know that truth because a lot of our tax money goes to fund Israel, who, by the way, they don't have deficits like we do, but our tax money is going to them. So if for some reason they do have some blackmail on you guys, you got to tell us that. We're supposed to be your bosses.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's like we started the show off saying some of the great things that are happening in the country. And because of MAGA and because not the evil Democrats, and I still am very much on the Republican side.
Yeah, Bobby, if this is your first show,
they're not.
You probably think you probably think we hate MAGA and Trump. We don't. I'm extremely frustrated with, and there is a huge difference. We talked about this in the past too. There's a huge difference between MAGA and the Republicans.
Yes.
And I think a lot of Republicans were fake MAGA when Trump won. When they saw that mandate, now all of a sudden John Thune or whoever is, Trump. I think a lot of these guys secretly hate Trump. I think they hate that he's not bombing Iran. I think he hates that we're not going in and fighting Hamas. I think they hate this shit.
Yeah.
I think he hates that he took off the trade embargoes with Syria and stuff. But they have to act like that because this is what they get. That obviously they feel the wind's changing too. But I don't really think they're really MAGA. And it's kind of interesting. We talked about like the primaries when Biden was president. They thought there should be this big red wave, and there wasn't. And everyone, the CNN, MSNBC, the political pundits, the pollers, they said, "Oh my God, this is because of Roe v. Wade. Everyone cares about Roe v. Wade. It's not about Roe v. Wade. It's because Trump is not at the top of the ticket."
Oh yeah, so
when Trump's not on top of the ticket, nobody gives a shit about John Thune because he does nothing. Because if we get the same guys over and over, they don't do shit for us.
Right,
they do nothing. So no one's going to care. Nobody's going to crawl through fucking broken glass to pick Trump over Kamala. Okay, I said it wrong. Everyone's going to crawl through broken glass to pick Trump over Kamala. But nobody's going to give a fuck when it's John Thune versus some other piece of shit. Nobody cares. And they're going to find out here pretty quick because Trump's not on the midterms. So they're going to lose the House, and Trump's done after this. They better hope that mantle goes to JD Vance.
Dude, that's why
they better hope.
That's why I'm so worried. I think it's now or never.
I think you are right to be concerned. Obviously, we know the troubles of the Democrat Party, but the issue isn't going to be those young men that are going conservative versus liberal. It's going to be, are they going to be motivated to vote? Right now, with the elections, the more people that show, the more likely it is for a Republican to win. So if it's a special election somewhere in bumfuck wherever, and there's 13% show rate, the liberal wins every time. If it's an actual election that matters, and they're like, oh my God, there's record turnout here, the Republican wins every time.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see, that record turnout next time, unless they turn shit around. Unless Kash Patel pulls his head out of his ass, and if Mike Johnson hopefully gets replaced by someone like Thomas Massey or something, I know him and Trump hate each other, but what I'm saying is they got to get off their asses and they've got to do something. They have a little sliver of time right now to get something done, and they're failing. Not Trump, not Doge. They're failing, as in our terrible congressmen, our terrible senators.
Yep, absolutely. And it's MAGA. The Republican
and there's
Party needs to just be completely replaced by MAGA.
Yeah. They've got to get MAGA. They need almost a new. They need the Democrats and woke as two different parties. They need the Republicans and MAGA as two different parties.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
And the woke can be the most evil party ever, and the MAGA can be the best party ever.
Yep.
Dude, let's let Kash Patel talk now.
So remember when we showed the clip 20 minutes ago
before we got on his spiel
about Kash saying how the Republicans got to put their big boy pants on because there's a slim amount of time for them to get this done and they've got to get these released. Yeah. And why wouldn't they? It's because they're protecting who's on it. Well, now let's hear what he says.
Yeah.
Also, if I had a shred, me, Kash Patel, had a shred of evidence, the Russiagate guy, the Jan 6 guy, the COVID origins guy, had a shred of evidence that this guy was murdered, I would be the first guy to bring this case hard and fast. And I would even doing press conferences every week on it. Mm-hmm. The first guy. That's what I'm asking people to play out to their logical conclusion. I'm not Comey. I'm not McCabe. I'm not the guy that was in the seat before.
Pause it real quick. Whether he likes it or not, he is now the big government. We've seen over and over the CIA, NSA, FBI. They've been basically the enemy of the people for a very long time. No doubt. They're not the good guys. Yeah. The FBI is the one that's surveilling people going to a parent-teacher conference. The NSA is the people that were spying on you illegally and nothing happened. Yeah. Not only did nothing happen, they let them keep doing it. They put it in the Patriot Act and they made it legal. They said, you're concerned about this being illegal? Don't worry, Nate. We made it legal now. And then they use the same thing to go and spy on Trump. And Trump wins. He does nothing about it. They were spying on him. They set him up as they lied and told the American people that he was a puppet to Russia. He did nothing. He did nothing. There's been no consequences
they
for
never
that.
get reined in. They always
and then we have the figurehead of the FBI going, guys, it's me though. You can trust me. No, we can't.
Yeah.
You're the head of the snake, this evil snake that's eating us over and over and over again. Like it or not, you're them. You're not us anymore. You're them. So you got to prove that to us. And you're not going to prove it to us by saying, trust me, guys, it's me. That's not enough.
Yeah,
for anybody rational, that is not enough.
And dude, we were on Kash's side so much that we really were. We had a lot of hope for this dude. But then he came in and he didn't do what he said he would do. All of a sudden he's running cover for the Epstein list, doesn't want to release. But now he's saying, come on, guys, it's me.
Oh, it's me. You don't think I would? Me? You don't think I would go after this? Well, I don't know.
Trust me, bro.
You made a video stating that Trump's king, and you made a wrote kids book about King Trump. And we gave you a pass on that. We thought, it's just you being quirky. Apparently, it's you being retarded, Kash.
All right, let's keep it going.
I have a wildly different background. I've been putting out the truth my entire career. Why would I risk all of it?
You tell me.
On this guy.
I believe you. Kash the letter.
Oh, yeah.
I believe you. I just think that, the problem is we've been fuming on this conspiracy for so long. And we love conspiracies, don't we?
No,
as a country,
it's
there's
good,
so
right?
much fun.
I mean, they make
JFK tapes. Come on.
So I'm
How much can you talk about what you've seen?
Not yet. Just what I've told you.
Can you say you've seen anything?
No, that's the point. That there's nothing in there.
Oh my God.
Pam Bondi is on film, like saying we have hundreds of tapes.
Yes,
they
we should play that one
next to that, and it's like. Kash Patel's sitting here saying, there's no evidence. How could there not be evidence?
You reposted that. When he's done lying to us, let's go play that clip.
Okay, let's let him lie.
So I think he is pulling cover for whatever reason. I think now if I'm putting him on the scale, he's on that evil scale for me. I think Pam Bondi's not.
Yeah.
I think I trust Pam Bondi more. I think she is a little bit more just, I want to say inept maybe, or maybe she's getting the runaround more.
She's getting the runaround. It's like, get those files on my desk. Oh, we'll get them to you.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what's going on there. My anger for Pam Bondi is a lot less now. It's growing as she's letting this happen, but my anger for Kash Patel is boiling. Like, I think she's doing a terrible job.
You guys are me bored.
You talking about the video of the murder or the suicide?
The suicide.
Okay, talking about the video.
I love he said murder.
Okay, I thought he meant all evidence.
He is, because he said, "What can you tell us?" He said, "There's nothing to tell you."
Yeah, but he's sort of talking about Epstein's suicide.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see, because I don't think he's given us any evidence anyway. He has
But what
so
about
far.
the video from the island?
Oh, sorry. So you're talking about two different
Yes.
things. So
sorry.
Okay. So yeah. So again, we're going to give you everything we can, and people have to remember, we're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it. You want to hate me?
Blur them out, then. Blur out their faces and release it right now.
Yeah, I don't buy any of these kind of excuses.
No.
Oh, we can't tell you anything about the victims, the children, because we don't want to re-victimize them. And as a consequence, you'll never know anything about who did it either.
It's so easy to come with excuses. But you were right, though. He was referring. Joe was asking about, in general, he was referring to the murder or the suicide. So you were right there.
Okay. But still, they haven't given us any fucking evidence.
Nothing. Yeah.
Fine.
We'll never see
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island,
trust me, bro,
and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
If you have access to it.
If I have it. Period.
Right.
If I have it.
So how do you not have it? We know the FBI took all of those tapes. There was tons of tapes in the
we showed proof.
Yes,
we showed proof that the FBI was actually deleting shit. You remember Doge caught him, and they claimed they recovered a bunch of it.
Oh my God, dude! So he's sitting here saying, "Oh, there's no. If I had tapes, I'd let you know."
Yeah,
great.
It's me. It's Kash.
You suck then.
It's the fun guy. Didn't you see me walk out the UFC with Trump? People are cheering. It's me.
Dude, not to mention, we know that Epstein was running a child sex blackmail ring.
Yes.
So he was blackmailing high-level politicians, Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, all these powerful people around the world, and the way he was blackmailing
Stephen
them.
Hawking.
Yes, the way he was blackmailing them was filming them do these evil things and having evidence. That's what a blackmail ring requires. So we know there's evidence.
That's why Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for basically her entire life.
Yeah.
She's in prison.
So Kash is sitting here acting like, I would show you.
I would show you.
If there was any evidence of this. Well, where is it then? Because, Epstein had plenty of it.
And if you're really not the head of the FBI, then, I mean, that obviously just proves the deep state. And come out and say that. Come out and say, I'm trying to do this. I'm running into all sorts of issues. I was right. The deep state's real.
Yeah, say that.
Okay, then we go try to run it out.
Yeah. Instead, he's just
and if you're too cowardly, Kash, if you're too cowardly to do this, step aside. Let somebody else do it.
Yeah. But
don't just sit there and take the fame.
Yeah. Trust me, bro. I would do it.
So
it's me.
Where else would it be?
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
See, Joe is trying to figure out how he could be not lying.
And Joe's he's saying right here, he's like, if you could tell us you had it. Like, he's basically giving him an out to be like, just wait. And he's basically saying there's nothing to wait.
Yeah, he's going to reiterate, like, no, there's nothing.
Yep.
And Joe is trying to find a way of like, how could Kash not be lying?
How could there be nothing?
Yeah.
No, we're giving you everything we have.
So far.
Everything we have so far.
Have you guys gone over all the video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Right.
And
is there video from the island?
Not of what you want. The people out there have filled the void with can't wait to see X, Y, or Z.
Right, speculation.
And I'm like, here's the other thing I've been asking.
I want to see Bill Clinton,
Prince Andrew, we already know.
Yeah.
We know Prince Andrew raped somebody there.
Yeah.
We know it.
Okay, exactly.
Obviously, it's on tape.
I want them to be arrested for their recorded crimes. That's what I want.
For, right? Oh,
I don't want Kash Patel telling me, oh, Bill Clinton's great.
Hey, it's me, guys. Yeah, it's me.
In that other video we showed, he said Bill Gates is lobbying to not have this list released. And now he's like, "Oh, there's no evidence. There's no evidence."
Openly, if you have information on this, call us. Tell us. The best resource we have is the American people in the world.
This is frustrating to watch this, dude. Okay,
it is.
It's 30 more seconds. Let's watch the whole rest of it.
Right.
Power watch
Get me
it.
the tail numbers. Get me the flight. Get me new information, and I will run that down.
So this narrative might not be accurate, that there's video of these guys doing this.
Exactly.
Is it possible that the video was taken and destroyed?
Well, you're talking about, decades worth of stuff, right? Remember, we have what we have pursuant to lawful search warrants and authorities from the case that was done however many years ago it was done. That's what we have. If other people have other stuff and they want to give it to us, bring it.
Have you guys reviewed everything that you have?
Almost. Yes, we have, and now we're figuring out how to put it out.
What do you have? Nothing? God. And he goes, "Oh, there's decades worth of stuff." Oh, there is? But not that you got, though. Somebody else has all that evidence somewhere. Israel. Adam and Stove. Adam and Stove says, "It's really insulting to say that the only logical conclusion is to trust
Absolutely.
him."
See, that's where I'm starting to hate this guy.
Yeah, me
because,
too.
Yeah, he's basically trying to use logic to be like, you just got to trust me. There's no other way. There's no other logic about this.
Guys. Yeah, that's a great point. That is insulting. That's why I hate watching him do that. Condescending. Let's think about this logically. I'm great, so wouldn't I do the right thing? What an asshole. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
That's exactly.
I know that there's most MAGA and probably most of our viewers disagree with me there, but I am extremely frustrated with him. I am not a fan of him until he proves otherwise. And that's the libertarian versus Republican in me, is that anybody that gets to the point of power, I already distrust. It's more of like, okay, instead of saying, okay, I trust you until you prove me wrong. When it comes to a politician, it's the opposite. It's like, okay, I don't trust you. Hopefully you change my mind. And Cash is not doing a good job of it.
Dude, him saying
just
that,
go to our X, by the way. You reposted her saying
that. Okay, I will. But him saying that, like, just trust me, guys. He should know better than that. It's similar to when Dr. Fauci said, like, "I'm the science." Like a scientist
I am science.
Would know not to say that. And the director of the FBI should know not to say, like, "Hey, I'm a cool guy. Just take my word for it."
I keep beating up on that Daughtry guy that took $1,000 to be against the food stamp things, but it's kind of the same. It's like, oh man, you don't even have any thoughts of your own. Are you really conservative? It's kind of the same thing.
If there was a video,
he's supposed to be the guy that says we shouldn't be trusting the government. There's a deep state, and it's just like he's proven us that he doesn't understand what he's even saying when he says that.
Yeah.
And it'd be different. Maybe let's say alternative universe. There's nothing. There is nothing, and he has to come out and say, "Oh my God, I was wrong, guys. That or it's missing and the deep state is real. Here's everything I have. I was wrong." But he's kind of doing the whole like, just trust me on it, guys. It'd be different if he said I was wrong. I was wrong. Here's everything I have. I know it's hard to trust me, but this is all we have. I don't know what to tell you. That is different than what he's saying here.
Yeah, that would show like more integrity. It would still be unbelievable, obviously. Yeah. Of course, there's evidence. Just because Mossad took it all, you should tell us that, dude.
Man, did you see JD Vance? Like I'm becoming a more of a JD Vance fan every day. But he was on Theo Von about the same time. So Cash was on Joe Rogan when the whole Elon Trump thing happened. And they read him out where Elon said that he was on the Epstein list. And he did the whole, I can't talk about that.
Yeah, because he bitches out during that. He goes like, "Oh, that's above my, I'm not even going to talk about it."
Yeah.
Why not? You suck, you little bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, then JD Vance was on Theo Von at the same time. And they read it to him. He tried to do kind of what Cash did, saying, well, obviously they're protecting Bill Gates, but he said they're protecting the Saudis. He said he could have. I like JD Vance, but if he had any balls, he would have told us the truth, because they're protecting Israel and Mossad and AIPAC. That's who they're protecting. But he goes to the kind of the opposite, goes more towards the enemy. Oh, they're protecting the Saudis, I believe
it could be the Saudis too.
Maybe I should fact check that before I say it on air, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
I haven't seen that JD Vance Theo Von.
I'll try to find it after. I'll post it.
Okay, watch this.
But you can switch to what she's saying too, because we just listen to.
This is great.
Okay.
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And
so
there are
this?
hundreds of.
See, this is what.
Yes.
Yeah, see, exactly.
So not only is Pam Bondi telling us what's really there, she's telling us what the media will. The media loves to act like these are barely legal girls, are barely illegal. It's not. The whole premise is these are kids. These are pre-pubescent kids, and they're lying to you.
This is what conspiracy theorists have been saying for years.
They've been right. They've been right about it all.
Of course, it was kids, and that's what the conspiracy has been this whole time. And Pam Bondi finally
she's saying it.
Right.
Yes.
And then we've got the side by side with Kash Patel.
Yep.
Oh, there's no.
I wish Rogan.
She said
I wish Rogan.
Thousands of tapes.
Yes. I wish Rogan would have played this for him.
God, that would have been great. I do too. Let's let her say it again.
Videos of Epstein.
Do you think you'd see it?
Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going.
Look at that.
So someone's
FBI
lying.
is going through it.
Someone's lying. Either Cash is lying or Pam Bondi's lying. Well, since Pam Bondi's telling us the truth, I'm going to say it's not her lying.
Yep, dude. And man, that makes me, they've got to have Cash's kids in a bunker somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, how did they turn him?
I don't know.
Because look, she laid it out there, and she even said the FBI, and like you pointed out, remember when they said, "Oh, this FBI office in New York is deleting evidence." And that was a big scandal, and the guy got fired. Yep. Remember that?
Yes.
So everything adds up to her telling the truth there, and if she's telling the truth, then Cash is lying.
And not only lying, he's in on the cover up at this point.
Yeah. Man, it's too bad. I mean.
Yep.
And I don't.
So we need. Do you know who we need?
We'll see justice. I really don't.
Do you know? No, not at all. Do you know who we need as our leaders right now? As our rulers, we need the Republicans from 4 years ago, from 3 years ago. We need those Republicans deciding the big beautiful bill. We need those Republicans heading the FBI.
Principled ones.
Yeah, the principled ones. That's who we need.
Yeah.
The Kash Patel from a couple of years ago.
They're nowhere to be found. They are nowhere to be found, dude. Damn, that's disappointing, man. It's honestly, it's chilling.
You know, a lot of this is disappointing. The whole Elon Musk and Donald Trump thing, that's disappointing. They're never going to get over this. Trump had, and I'm not blaming Trump, but it's kind of blackpilling too. You have the best entrepreneur to ever exist. And he says, look, I'm going to help the government fix this. He goes and finds out how bad the government really is, how bad there's molasses everywhere, and he can't do it. You have one of the smartest guys ever lived trying to fix government, and he can't even make a dent, not even a small dent in this. Yeah. That is blackpilling right there.
Yeah. It's like, I mean.
He says, I'm going to go back and fix this, but making humanoid robots and selling trillions of dollars worth to help our GDP that way because we can't cut the spending.
Unfixable. Yeah.
We can't cut the spending. So now we have to get through GDP.
Yeah. You know, it's sort of what I was getting at the beginning of like, I'm disillusioned with this stuff with the government again to the point where it's like, okay, I just need to focus 100% on myself and like my family, get money for me. This country, we can't fix it.
Yeah.
Let's try our best to keep all of the First and Second Amendments. Guess what? The dollar is screwed. Inflation is going to go up eventually.
You could only do what you could do. You know what I mean? You can't just dwell in this. And you just the tone of the show now between 3 months ago is just so different. We were so optimistic. And now we're just already running into all of this.
Well, it's because if we have this dream team, the House, the Senate, the presidency, all these go-getters, and we can't do anything, then all of a sudden it's like, well, it's not going to get better. We're not going to have like a better chance next time. You know what I mean? And I think that lots of good things are happening in the country. We've talked about that. I love that we're securing the border.
We're still way better. Still way better than Kamala in one. We're way better.
Yeah. We'd lose the Second Amendment. We'd lose the freedom of speech. I think that
the border would be nothing.
Yeah, I think the Democrats hate America. Okay, I love America. I want America to be strong. I just worry about the future. It looks pretty rough, honestly. And I think the dollar is gonna buy Bitcoin, y'all, because the dollar is going to crumble. I have no faith in our economy.
When we first started the show, Bitcoin was like $5,000 a coin for a while. 5,000.
Yeah,
you bought 4 of them.
Look, it probably it's still early. I know it's at 110K, but if you go talk to 10 people, none of them own Bitcoin. And if the dollar is a useless fiat currency being run by evil lizards, then you might as well buy Bitcoin with it.
So during COVID, this is during COVID, Bitcoin falls to almost 3,000 a coin. Ethereum is just pennies of what it is now. My brother and I were talking about getting a node of Ethereum. People that don't know what a node is, that's kind of the more environmentally friendly way to do the mining, basically. You have a node, you have it staked, and you just get more Ethereum. At the time, it was like $20,000 worth of Ethereum. We thought, should we do this? And we had a couple coworkers, employees that were younger than us go, are you guys talking about Bitcoin? Like, kinda. And they said, Bitcoin's still a thing? And then we're like, Jesus Christ, these guys are in their 20s. We're pushing 40 and they don't know about Bitcoin. And then we didn't buy it because of that. And now a node of like Ethereum is worth just multiples and multiples.
Yeah.
So I get pissed when I think back to that.
I know. I try not to think about what I should have invested in with crypto.
It's so easy to go that way.
Who knows? It might go to zero. What do I know?
It won't. Yeah.
But, whatever.
Man.
But I can't reiterate enough how much I think Democrats suck. Okay.
Yes.
I want to make that very clear.
For our MAGA viewers, it sounds like we're beating up on MAGA a lot. We're beating up on the old, terrible GOP. There's a lot of good stuff. The woke is dead. We have free speech. Bobby, I think it's Bobby. Sorry if I got your name wrong. Earlier said, stock market's stable, inflation coming down, gas prices is great. There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
the biggest thing, no wars.
I love that.
Israel wants us to be bombing Iran. Trump said, get out of here. Everyone at AIPAC, get out of here. Do your own shit. Syria, I think it's Syria, right? Now, we took the trade embargoes off of them. We're not as involved with Ukraine. There is a lot of really good stuff, but they've got to do something about Kash Patel. They've got to.
They've got to do something about the Epstein list.
They got to do something about the. Sorry, they got to do something about the spending. Yeah.
Yes, they've got to do something about spending. They've got to make these Doge cuts permanent. Get rid of USAID permanently.
Yeah.
They need to actually, in my opinion, be deporting more people.
Cliff, yeah.
Which is why we need to get into the LA riots right
now. Yep. That one, there's at least an excuse. It's these activist judges are putting up roadblocks. But I think that I think that we're gonna start seeing a more aggressive, and I'll show you why when we get to it.
You know what, though, real quick, we laid out a bunch of the things that are going better, the things we do like.
Yep.
And it does make me feel a little bit silly for being so hard on them. Because, man, it's only been 6 months or whatever. How long's Trump been in there? 5 months?
We only have, but there's not as much time as you think because we're losing the House. Clip that.
Some things
we're losing.
Really
we're losing the House.
Yeah.
Clip it. It's happening. Also, clip, Nate, you're going to get an email from Mike Johnson saying, Nate, Your donation's very important because we've got to make these Doge cuts permanent. Clip that. It's gonna happen. And then we could go and pile up on the background of the Mike Johnson email or whoever your local politician is in us saying this. It's gonna happen. I couldn't be more certain about any of my entire life.
Okay, yeah. Also, Maha is doing some stuff that I really like. They banned
I think
they They're making
I think they
prescription
fired
drugs. That thing with the prescription drugs where whatever they charge in other countries, they got to charge us.
Did you see today that they fired like 7 scientists that were like basically just rubber stamping all the vaccines that pharma was giving them? They just rubber stamped, say, "Yep,
That's
approved.
What I
yep,
assume
approved."
they're all doing.
Yeah. I think he has fired like 7 scientists that were doing that.
So he's kicking ass. Robert.
Yeah,
Kennedy.
I have no. There is Robert Kennedy, Lee Zeldin. I've said him a few times. The EPA. He's kind of an unsung hero.
Awesome.
He's doing some really good stuff,
dude. So okay, look, I'm just we're laying out all these great things, and I feel sort of like we went, like I was, maybe I'm out of line saying how disappointed I am because of how many good things are happening.
I mean, you also said you hope the big beautiful bill passes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that.
Well, I can only say that because I don't know anything about it, and I'm.
Do you know what though? Either do whoever your representative is. They don't know either. They didn't read that piece of shit bill.
How could they? Of course they didn't. But that's the other thing. It's like, let's say it doesn't pass. Okay. Well, good. I mean, good. Let's fix it and make it not way overloaded pork.
They've got to stop with the goddamn vacations and recesses. They got to go. You're going to have to work 50, 60 hours a week. I know you guys are used to about 5 or 6 hours, and you got to do it line by line. Quit throwing everything into one pork-filled bill. Do item by item. First, start with the Trump tax cuts. Make them permanent. Great. And then let's go on to tax for tips. No tax for tips. Great. And then let's do it line by line. Let's quit throwing everything into monstrosity and saying, all right, let's go vote on this so we can get back on vacation.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing to us right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. That system needs to be fixed. This is the thing. It's like, fix these problems. Trump said he was going to make the tax code on a single note card. Do that.
Yeah, postcard. Yeah, you're going to file your taxes on a postcard, he said. That still hasn't happened. They made fun of Nancy Pelosi, rightfully, by the way, when they were talking about the Obamacare, and she said, we're going to have to pass this bill to see what's in it. She was saying that like it's a good thing, and they made fun of her, rightfully so, but they're doing the same shit.
Yeah,
now that they're in power, they're doing the same shit.
So, yeah, but that's how it is. That's how all these bills are. The next bill is going to be 6,000 pages.
Yeah. Well, why even have a debt ceiling at this point? Because it always gets extended. It means nothing. 25% of your taxpayer dollars go to paying the interest on this bullshit. Next time that we have another tax bill coming along, it's going to be higher. I can guarantee you that. It's going to be higher than 25%.
Look,
it used to be $1 trillion debt was a huge deal. Now they're just throwing that around like it's pennies.
Well, here's the thing also, because our economic system is so screwed up with the Federal Reserve and all of these things that we've talked about a million times.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to pay taxes anyway. They can print the money. Why am I paying
debt?
Why do I pay taxes? Just go print it. You print it.
Yep.
You print it and give it to the banks anyway. Why you need my taxes?
What you promised these guys money on my behalf of that? Well, I didn't promise them.
Yeah.
Just go print off and just give it to them.
Yeah, go print it.
That's what they're doing anyway.
Print double. And
so then we're getting into the modern monetary theory that the AOCs really love.
Yeah. Well, see, there's the other thing. It's like, okay, so we've got, I think it's 36 trillion or more right now. Okay, print that.
What is it?
You know what? Print 3 times that. Give everybody $400 million.
You know what, Nate? Just go type in U.S. debt. See what it is.
I will. But the point is, it's like, come on, the system is doomed. Let's bring it down with your stupid printing of money, and let's just get it over with.
U.S. debt clock.
Yeah, let's see how this is going. How's this doing for everybody? Yeah, 37
trillion. Debt per citizen, 108,000. And they act like, it doesn't matter because it's different than your household debt. Yeah, whatever. You can give us all sorts of excuses. It's terrible. We're not in a time of war. We should not be decreasing the debt.
This is death. And who
Yep.
who do we owe this money to? How rich are they? So all
Yeah, when
this
they
shit is
downgrade our
nonsense.
debt, they probably should downgrade us when we see the Moody's downgrade.
Yeah,
We're the ones that own all the missiles.
that's
Go ahead and downgrade it.
When you mentioned that they downgraded us, finally Moody's or whatever, you
Yep.
mentioned that like 2 shows ago,
No.
and I said, "What took you so long?" You
Yeah,
know?
really. But it's hilarious. They have Canada as higher grade than us. Good luck.
Whatever.
But
Well, that's just like, on the freedom index, Canada's higher than us.
yeah, it's not
These
nuts.
countries without freedom of speech are higher than
Do,
the
do,
US.
do you know what's hilarious? Do you know what that is? Let's say you're a politically active person and you say, I'm going to make an index that's going to rank these countries by freedom. And I'm going to come up with the very, very subjective ideas of what freedom is. Let's see here. Does the government pay for radio stations like the BBC? Let's put that as high.
That's freedom.
So state sponsored. Yeah, state sponsored. Because someone gets it for free. It's same thing with medicine. Am I for or against socialized medicine? I'm for. So everyone with socialized medicine has more freedom. That's all it is.
Right.
It's some stupid communist somewhere
Absolutely.
that has their own subjective list, but it's hilarious. We see that all the time. Oh God, the U.S. is 38th on the freedom index. Yeah, says China.
Right, exactly, dude. Yeah, see, that's why I honestly think that the United States, because of the freedom of speech, it's what I've said. I said on our last 5 shows.
Yep.
Every other
Yep.
country sucks way worse than us because we have
know
the
what?
First and Second Amendment. If you don't have the First and Second Amendment, your country sucks.
We have about 100 viewers now. Clips. If we have good clips, we'll be seen thousands and thousands of times. We're not getting arrested. We don't have to worry about it. I've said that I hate Kash Patel and I don't trust him. I don't have to worry. If I'm in Keir Starmer's UK, that's not the same story. If I'm in Mark Carney's Canada, that's not the same story. If I'm in whoever the leader now of fuckface Germany, that's obviously I'm going to get arrested for this.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about that here.
Dude, we said something on X maybe a month or so ago, making fun of Mark Carney. I think, you know what? We said what a great friend of Ghislaine Maxwell he is, because he is. And we said some other shit about Canada sucking. And then some Canadian on X tweeted.
Reported us
to the Royal Canadian.
Not to X.
Yeah.
To a Canadian. Oh man, they have
And she said hey, this person's violating some speech law.
They have an ethics board there.
Yeah.
If they say that comedians can't go there because they make fun of somebody in a wheelchair, they go to this ethics thing and they find them. This is a real thing that Canada does.
And I told
we got reported to them.
Yeah, I told the lady. No, because I retweeted at them. I said, check us again. Canadian police or something. And I said, we live in the United States where we have the freedom of speech. So thank God for that. Anyway, every other country sucks. God bless America.
That's the thing too, is the UK and Canada, the EU especially, they're ran so much worse than the US that while we're probably seeing the negative effects of this, we're going to be standing out because everyone else is even shittier, that it's going to look really good for a while.
Yeah. And now let's see how things are going in California.
Large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
So
the goddamn evil media. So did you know what one of these guys did? They hailed a bunch of Waymo cars. The self-driving cars, and they started 8 of them on fire. And Waymo, that's $1 million. But this guy's saying it's just a bunch of kids having fun.
They're having fun.
But don't bring ICE in. Yeah. Don't bring in the authorities, because then it's not going to be just people having fun. Then it's going to be.
Right. I mean, it was.
Then it's going to be his thing.
They were peacefully just burning cars and having fun, and then the police showed up and it made it a riot.
Watching the media bend over backwards to make this not a riot. But also on January 6th, bending over backwards, clutching their pearls to make January 6th something is hilarious. Yeah. Because January 6th was 1,000 times less violent than this. They'll say somebody died on January 6th. Yes, we had a rogue fuckface shoot a protester.
Yeah.
Are we gonna blame the protester for this?
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're doing here.
You know, because of the Black Lives Matter riots and the Summer of Love and COVID, I mean, the hypocrisy of the media is just so. I'd be shocked if they weren't extremely evil and hypocritical.
You know, we always talk about the Nate and Garrett were right thing. Do you know what was right? Is they basically said, "Oh, Republicans are in power again. We're gonna see riots." It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Riots are bad for who's ever in power. It makes them look ineffective, makes them look weak, and it's funny how every time we have a Republican president, the left does riots and the media, like the lapdogs, go and say why it's not their fault. Why this isn't the left's fault.
Why
we see this.
These are good.
And basically, what Trump and everyone said, oh, here comes the riots. Here comes the riots. There's going to be something. Here comes the riots. Well, they were right. Here it is. They were right again.
Yeah, you're all assholes.
So here's a Tom's Elliott here says, here's a supercut. It is crazy watching this. Just a double speak here. Can you imagine if they were bending over backwards for January 6th like this? Just play this out.
LA County police say that they have it under control. Carrying a flag is not illegal, as you know. What did happen in 1992 was so different from what we're seeing now. I mean, that was a real riot.
Video after video has shown that these agents are the ones provoking protests.
Why don't they stop and arrest
agents?
him?
He's saying video after video showed these agents are provoking protesters. It's just, dude, how Orwellian is this?
Why don't they arrest the dude throwing bricks at their car?
Probably for yeah, for sure. Yeah. But how Orwellian is this? The media nobody trusts, and they blame Trump or whatever they blame. Here's the media saying video after video shows that ISIS is the instigators here. How nuts is this?
And also making up, aggression by these protesters that later video shows people were not aggressive.
We are having an administration that's targeting peaceful protests, people that are there to protest. The president is sending the National Guard because he doesn't like the scenes. He doesn't like the scenes of people peacefully protesting.
Unrest is isolated. LA is home to millions of people, most of whom are having a normal day here on Sunday.
Normal day.
God
people do it. It is crazy how evil these people. I honestly think there's a special place in hell for these lying journalists. And I really do. I think they're all going to go to hell. That's what I think.
You know, you've heard reports that there are riots on the streets of Los Angeles. That is not what's happening across the city of Los Angeles.
Governor Newsom's right. There wasn't anything like a riot happening on Friday, Saturday.
We just witnessed.
What do you have to say about this, Garrett?
I can't. My contempt for the media can't be put into words. There's 40 more seconds. I think you have to play it out.
Okay, it's hard to watch because it's so frustrating.
I think
protester thinking
America's problems comes from how terrible our media is. They're worthless. They're terrible people. They're people that could not go and survive in the real world. They're in their bubble, their echo chamber that America used to eat up. And it's a dying breed, and I couldn't be happier. I celebrate when there's big layoffs. I celebrate. I will get like an expensive bottle of whiskey, and I'll crack it open when Brian Stelter gets laid off, because it's good for, when it comes to the scale like good and evil, that is a good when Brian Stelter loses his job.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
That's funny.
They're terrible people. In watching them flounder and try to stay relevant brings me a lot of joy.
Yes.
A National Guardsman for his service here in California.
LAPD, by most estimates, had this under control last night.
No, I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in LA are calm. There was a protest that got a little unruly late at night.
There have been no violence where anybody that was protesting hit anybody, shot anybody, threatened anybody. Nothing has happened.
What is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn.
Most of those demonstrators were very peaceful. They were chanting, they were shouting. People were driving by, honking their horns.
God, mostly peaceful protests.
How Orwellian. So here's some good news. We're talking about good news. The media is going to bat for these guys. They're saying how they're the good guys. ICE is the bad guys. Go to the next thing I sent you.
Okay.
There's some funny stuff about this. Here's one. President Trump's approval rating on immigration has surged by 22 points since 2017, according to CNN.
Yeah.
Go to the next one. This is turning into an 80-20 thing. This is from YouGov. I got to remind you guys, YouGov is super liberal. They're the ones showing Trump losing the election against Kamala. Not only losing, they had him getting his ass kicked by her in the Senate, and they basically had the Democrats sweeping. So here's YouGov. Approval of recent Los Angeles protests against ICE. 36% only. This is turning into another 80-20 thing.
Yeah, dude.
How stupid are these optics, though? You're waving Mexican flags or whatever. Why burning a different country? Why? Like, this would look way better if they were waving American flags. But if you're really Viva Mexico, go Viva in Mexico then.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's really such a weird thing. But even with the media, with the Brian Stelters out there, just full deep throating this and telling you, don't believe your lying eyes. ICE is the bad guys. These are the good guys. And still, it's 36% approved. What's this going to be next time? It's going to be an 80-20 thing. It really is.
Especially if somebody dies. You know, if they kill some police officer or an ICE agent, which, I mean, it's a violent... I think it might happen. I don't
Did you
think that's
see, like,
crazy.
They were on overpasses throwing boulders at police cars.
Yeah, that kills people
even at the
all the
police. Yes, all the time. Yep.
I've seen that. I mean, there was a famous.
So this is
where
mostly
some teenagers-
peaceful, even though they're doing millions of dollars of damage. But January 6th, where you had a bunch of just
a tour through
weirdo middle, basically a tour to the Capitol. That was the biggest insurrection in the U.S. history.
Right. That was worse than 9/11. Dude, I love that this isn't being approved of. You know, 36% of moron liberals.
So that means that even a ton of Democrats are against this, even though the media is telling them, their mouthpieces are telling them, and even Democrats are going, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this.
The rational Democrat is against lawless rioting and burning. You know, and
you would hope.
Speaking of immigration, dude, I was gonna bring up that clip that shows Obama and Hillary Clinton both fiercely advocating for deporting illegal immigrants.
Yep.
And Obama deported. They called him the deporter in chief. He
deported more people than Trump did.
Yeah. Okay. I think that showing that video to Democrats will make a Democrat kind of double.
Do you know what they're going to say? Opinion. No, they're going to say, well, Obama did this right. He did it within the law. Trump's breaking the law. But what it is Obama didn't have whoever's funding this. I don't know. Mossad, George Soros, Gates, whoever, that they weren't going and making a spectacle and also calling up MSNBC and CNN saying, here's what you're going to say.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to say, or else the funds get cut off. And then we'll really see what happens after your ratings even fall.
Speaking of
that's
that,
obviously what's happening.
I do think a ton of this is manufactured. I think it's these people. A lot of these people are being paid, and I totally agree that the media is.
If Kamala wins and she still is doing this, if she's letting ICE do this, we're not seeing this. We're not seeing Brian Stelter say how this is mostly peaceful.
Yeah, they'd be the opposite probably. They'd say, "Oh, we got to get rid of these crazy," but there wouldn't be riots. So.
Oh, did you see this? There is some kind of crazy stuff. Watch this.
I didn't see this.
You're gonna want to unmute her, and you might want to hide us for this one.
Okay.
And then I have it in slow motion too.
All right, hang on. Let me hide our webcams. Okay, here we go.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA. You just shut the fuck up.
You okay?
I'm good.
That was crazy. He just
go to the next one. Go to the next one.
Yeah, you can clearly see
this Yeah, go to the next one. It's in slow mo. And here's where I disagree with MAGA too. MAGA seems to be like a pro police, pro military thing, and I'm not so much. I think they shouldn't have shot her. Obviously, I think there should be consequences.
They shouldn't have shot her. I think
no.
But the other thing is that LAPD, like in general, isn't fighting against the rioters and shit. LAPD is like doing nothing, or from what I've seen, Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass like told them.
But I mean, we saw when push comes to shove, when tyranny comes to America's door, whose side are they on? Are they on tyranny's side? Are they on civilian side? Well, we have the answer because of COVID, and they weren't on the people's side.
The cops are on tyranny's side.
If they're not, because we saw them shutting down business owners, and they were arresting people for going to the gym or going to the beach, or they were throwing sand in the skate parks. Yeah. They're not the good guys. If you were doing any of that, I don't care how much you got paid for it. I don't care who told you to. I don't care why you did. If you're doing that, you're a bad guy. I get that you have to put food on your table, but you don't have to take food from someone else's table to do it. And if you do, you're a bad guy. So if you were arresting people for going to church, you're a bad guy. I don't care. I don't care if you were told to. I don't care if you got lied to by the government. You're a bad guy if you're doing that.
Dude, I agree. And I think that the police are going to be the ones who come to take our guns.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Hurricane Katrina.
They can't be trusted, dude.
Well, look at Hurricane Katrina. That happened. They went door to door and went in your house and they took your guns. Did they have a search warrant for that? Yeah. Is that legal? Did Congress pass a law saying they could go into your house and take your guns? No, they didn't. None of it was there.
Yeah. And
I
blame the police, but I also think that, look, the police swear an oath to the Constitution. I think that's a great practice. They should have to do that. On top of that, we have to have some sort of better training of the police to teach them to at first we need to make smarter police instead of dumber ones like they like to do. We need to hire smarter police.
I don't want to get into it too much, but did you see that there's some police stations got sued because they give an IQ test and they weren't hiring the people with higher IQs?
That's a common thing. That's a common
and the courts basically said, yeah, you could do that. You could hire people with lower IQ, but it's such a bad look. They're hiring policemen because they wanted lower IQ people.
Well, I mean, it makes total sense if you realize that they don't want good, smart policemen. They want stupid.
They want order. They want order followers.
Yeah, go punch that guy in the face. That's what they want.
Hey, go shoot the reporter. That's reporting on this.
Yeah.
And look, she's probably evil too. She's probably a mouthpiece of what I'm against. But also, we don't want the cops just to shoot her for whatever reason.
She shouldn't be getting shot. That's fine.
Yeah. But here's the slow-mo version of it.
Okay. Oh, hang on. I gotta hide my webcam again here.
Has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA. You just shut the fuck up.
I think that's the same video, Nate. Go to the next one quick. I might have just sent you the same one twice.
Here it is.
Here. There's no question. He turned and shot her.
Yeah, that's messed up.
That's not right.
And but God, we've made that point about police before. It's like,
I think it's another area where MAGA disagrees with us. I think in general, MAGA is more pro police, pro cash, that sort of stuff. It's another one that we disagree with MAGA.
It's because they need to be more nuanced in their support of the police.
They need to be,
I'm pro police, except that all our police suck. If we had good, we need to have good police. And I think it's an important function of the state. But we do it so terribly that we end up with terrible police, just like in every other country where the police are just sword arm of a corrupt government. That's what I don't want. I want good police who are dedicated to upholding the Constitution and who will tell the police chief to go screw himself.
On a slow news week, we should probably show some First Amendment audit type stuff.
Yeah, I love videos like that.
Just to kind of go and make the point.
Get into it, yeah.
Watch here. Watch here.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I got it.
Like I said, I'm sure this person's a piece of shit, but
okay, let's see. He just hit him in the head. Oh,
he stops him.
What are they doing?
God,
to this poor guy?
I don't know. They hit him with those sticks and shit. It's like, what do you want him to do? Yes, he's a piece of shit, but he's already on the ground. Like, what do you want him to do?
Yeah, you're trying to trample him with your horse? I mean, that's crazy. It's stuff like that, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not on that dude's. I'm like,
no, I think
I
that
don't
guy's
like the
probably,
rioters.
Yes,
But the
yes.
police should not do police brutality on some
Yeah.
poor guy.
You arrest the guy, and I get that you have a liberal DA that's probably going to release him for nothing, and you're going to have Kamala Harris set up some funds to go and bond them out, but still.
Yeah, but you don't abuse them. It's like
Yeah,
I
you
can't
don't
be on
abuse your
anyone's
authority.
team. Everyone's an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh man, we're not going to get to everything, of course.
Yeah.
What was this? So there's a Minnesota state rep that came out and basically admitted she's a legal immigrant. Somehow she's a state rep. But not only that, they went through her old tweets and showed that she voted. So they're lying to you and they're saying illegals can't vote. Don't worry, illegals can't vote. They're lying. Here's a Minnesota state rep who came out and said, I'm an illegal immigrant. I guess the flex, like, I'm a legal immigrant. They should be doing this to me. But also, she voted.
Is this the one where JD Vance responded with that Jack Nicholson?
No. I got that one
Do you have
next.
that? Okay.
Yes, this is crazy. Go to this next one.
Okay. Right here.
So this guy, the menswear guy. So this is a menswear guy, got kind of big on Twitter. He started as being like a guy that was asked to be like the male fashion guy. And he would go and critique people's fashion and stuff. Well, it became very
liberal.
Yeah, he came very transparent that if you were liberal leaning politics, you only say good stuff about your fashion. If you were right leaning, everything was wrong about it. So people started calling him out on it. And during this, he came out with like a tweet saying like, I don't like to get too personal, but I'm an illegal immigrant too and stuff. So this guy goes, JD Vance, I know you're reading this and you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. And JD Vance posted this GIF. I fucking love JD Vance.
Yeah, that's great. That's so funny that he posted this.
He responded. The menswear guy responded if you want to go back.
Is that who is the menswear guy? Okay.
Go next, you'll see. I screenshotted it.
This
guy, Derek Guy. This is the menswear guy. You just go to the bottom of the highlighted part. But either way, since I came here without legal documentation, I eventually fell into the category of being an undocumented immigrant. Yet I've been in the United States since I was a baby. Yada, yada, yada. But now the media is running with this and acting like JD Vance is attacking this guy because this guy is critical of JD Vance's style. But that's not what's happening here, obviously.
Did the guy talk about JD Vance's style?
Yeah. Anybody that's conservative, basically, he has in the past. That's his shtick.
Well, he's
that's
not a U.S.
shtick.
citizen, so good luck in your country, buddy. I
If
don't
you-
care
if
if
you-
you've lived here for 30 years. I don't care.
That's even worse. You had all the time to do this right. You can go to his Twitter and you can get a sense very quickly. But he tried to act like no, I'm just a fashion consultant.
Yeah, well,
There
whoop-de-doo.
it is. Yeah.
I hope you're a fashion consultant in Peru or wherever you're from.
Yeah. And then he's just gotten more and more political because of this. But yeah.
I want to see him make fun of JD Vance's.
Here's what HuffPost says, of course.
JD Vance hints he's okay with deporting menswear rider who mocks his attire. Why not?
He's not doing it because he mocks his attire.
citizen.
It's because he said he's not a U.S. citizen. He's living here. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But you'd probably have to go back like a month or two. You'd probably have to go back before the election to see what his page really is. It's basically saying why left-leaning people have better fashion. Is really what he does.
Yeah. Okay. Look, that might be something that's true. Maybe lefties do have better fashion. They're girly men. They probably give a shit about it. You know, that might be one thing they have. I'm not. I'd have to think about it, but it wouldn't surprise me if that were true. You know?
Right. But how funny is Vance to tweet that meme though? That gif.
Yeah. Okay. What else we got, Garrett?
All right. You know what? I don't know if we should even go on.
What time is it?
Yeah,
it's been
we've been doing it for an hour and a half. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think we should.
We ranted for most of this.
Yeah. MAGA fans, I'm sorry. You probably hate this episode.
I think we did. I think we gave a lot of justice to the MAGA thing. We just pointed out the ways in which they're failing us.
Yeah.
But we also
they've got to get their heads out of their asses.
I do feel a little silly for being a little too, just because there are lots of good things happening, you know, which we went over. It's just some
like Bobby talked about earlier. Yeah.
There are just some major ways they're failing, which they shouldn't be. So that frustrates me.
There's kind of no excuse. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully we have better news for you guys next show.
Dude, I think Elon and Trump should patch it up. And for the good of the country, that's what I don't like about it extra.
Yeah, we need that alliance, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of embarrassing that happened.
And I don't really.
It's frustrating.
It feels like Elon was kind of out of line to me overall in the fight.
I think. I think. You know, it's kind of like the Libertarian Party. I talked lately about how I hate the actual capital L Libertarian Party. Libertarian is really my views in general. The Libertarian Party is just ridiculous. It almost feels like Elon's like a little bit too principled, and where Trump kind of knows a little bit more of how politics work a bit.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it feels like a little bit to me.
And a little bit too foolish of not understanding that he shouldn't publicly have a meltdown. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that could have been a phone call.
Yeah.
I think he was a scorned lover a bit. I mean, Elon did tweet out, I love President Trump as much as a straight guy can love another guy.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, he's calling him a pedophile.
Yeah. Honeymoon's over, I guess.
And it's because he humiliated his friend over NASA. I'm pretty convinced.
Yeah.
That's why I sold $50,000 worth of Tesla the day before that happened. So it worked out for me, I guess.
Yeah, I think it looks like they might be kind of patching it up. Is that what you're kind of
thinking? It looks like they're calling a truce to me. I don't think they're going to be friends. I don't think Elon's going to have anything to do with the White House anymore. But I think they're going to. Yeah. I don't think Trump's going to be vindictive. And I think Elon's going to back off, is my guess.
Okay.
Hey, do you want to play us out with something? We have a couple clips we could show if you want to do a quick one.
Yeah, what do we got?
You know what? You pulled it up, and I didn't mean to send it to you. But if you go over a couple, there's a really funny clip I love. Go left a couple.
Oh, okay.
I thought go that one right here. This is just a funny one. News reporter gets just left hanging. Have you seen this one?
Yeah.
Isn't it pretty? Is it worth playing?
We might as well. We talked about
it. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's just something to play us out for a minute.
It's just where,
yeah. We have that other one, the underwater lady trying to do a flip with one of those scuba diving helmets on. But play this one. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's trying to get set up, and the guy won't help him.
He won't throw him a lob ball, a meatball here. He's asking for a meatball. He's doing a puff piece on something he doesn't want. He's a news reporter, local news reporter, doing a puff piece on something he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to go talk about this inflatable fun run, but he's got to do it because they're told to. And he wants his coworkers to throw him a meatball here, and they won't do it.
Won't help him, so he just left.
Usually when you're talking about the world of inflation, you guys, you probably notice, is that a good thing or not a good thing, inflation?
I'm sorry, the question again, Dave?
Is inflation in our world a good thing or not a good thing?
It depends upon what the topic is. What are we talking about? Generally, inflation. If you have an inflatable boat, that's a good
if you
thing.
heard the right. But generally, when you hear the word inflation,
not economically.
Something good come to mind?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
Help me out here, buddy.
You're giving. He must hate this guy. He must hate him. Just like, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, just say inflation.
It's obvious that's what he's
not
going
good.
for.
Yeah,
He
that's all
hates this
that's all
guy.
he needed. This guy's talking about, my inflatable boat. I love it. Okay.
Who the fuck is an inflatable boat?
Yeah, no shit.
Well, let me tell you that you're right about, if you say good, you're right, because this is the world of inflatables. Give yourselves a nice round of applause, everybody. These are just the volunteers coming out here today. And Addie, you're gonna what kind?
He had to just move on and do his best without any help from his
Oh man, he just leaves him hanging so bad. He must hate him.
Thanks for the boost there, buddy. All right, Garrett, I think.
All right, guys. Hopefully, we bring you guys some more good news next show.
Yeah. Hopefully, Kash Patel releases the Epstein list. I won't hold my breath.
No.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Adam and Stove, Bobby. If I forgot anyone, sorry.
Yeah, thanks everybody who tuned in.
Yep, everyone else is watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Peace.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.